this video, you'll see my full Nintendo collection. This is only a small part of it. From every console, game, amiibo, and even weird accessories almost no one has. And at the end, we'll reveal how many consoles and games I have in total, which was way more than I thought. To start off the console segment, here are all of my Nintendo Switches. On the Nintendo Switch 2 side of things, we have my personal Nintendo Switch 2 and one that we use for videos. In terms of Nintendo Switches, we have a Switch OLED Splatoon 3 edition. That was my main one for the longest time, and I only bought the Animal Crossing Special Edition to build a second island. I'm not kidding, I was addicted to that game. And finally, the Switch Lights, one Animal Crossing Edition. Of course, I'm a fan, I gotta buy it. And this one I bought from China for a video. It said it was brand new. It was not, but it works fine. I like the shade of blue. I never got rid of it. And that makes 6 Nintendo Switches in total. And to go in chronological order, we go with what some think is a dud of a console, the Nintendo Wii U. This is the console that I got when I was about 6 years old, and it gave me a lot of childhood memories, and it's still working to this day. You gotta love it. And now for my handheld DS, 2DS, and 3DS family of systems. 4 members make up this family. We first have my childhood DSi. This was my first ever console that I owned. It's got a ton of weird pictures of me on it. There's a couple, and it's super scratched up. I'm not proud of the shape that I've kept it in. And in between my DS and this 3DS, I had a couple 3DS XLs. I was young, sold them to GameStop. They're long gone. So that brings us to my white, Japan-imported new Nintendo 3DS XL. What a name. This is my main console for all 3DS playing, and this one even has a capture card in it, so with the USB-C port, I can hook it up to my computer and record gameplay. And this here is my new Nintendo 2DS XL. The names are killing me. I remember when I bought this, it had just came out, it was launch day, and I traded in a bunch of games to GameStop, and I was just able to get it. I don't know what games I traded in, but I think I regret it. And then, I'm not proud of this. This is a Zelda 2DS. Seems great, right? I bought it off an eBay seller who said, no scratches, works great. I get it, and like the buttons are all mushy, there's scratches on it for sure, and the battery dies in like half an hour. Hey Max, why didn't you return it then? The seller did not offer refunds. Your boy got scammed. Nonetheless, that's the handheld DS, 3DS, and 2DS collection. And next, everyone's favorite Nintendo console, the Nintendo Wii. Now it's funny, you see one Nintendo Wii here, but I actually own about 5. 3 of them are broken, 2 of them actually work. These are those 2. It would be wrong of me to count the other 3 as working Wiis that I own, so I own 2 Wiis, one for down here in the studio area, and one for my bedroom. You can never have too many. And guess what? It's actually 8 days older than I am. We have so much in common. Next up here, we have the Nintendo GameCube. This is the one that my family owned back very early in the 2000s, and I guess you can say this was my first TV console, unlike the Wii, but they had this before I was born, so I didn't get to love it to the fullest extent. However, being grown, now I know the GameCube is top tier. In terms of Game Boys, I only keep the Ultimate Game Boy machine around, and that's just a Pikachu-themed Game Boy Advance SP. It plays any Game Boy game out there, and I believe it's called an IPS screen. It has one of those. Basically, it means the screen is very bright. I do own a Nintendo 64, but I actually didn't even own it until our I Played 100 Years of Nintendo video. I'd played some N64 here and there, but now to actually own the thing is a cool thing for my collection. And second to last, we have the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and the Nintendo Entertainment System, both of which I also didn't own until that 100 Years of Nintendo video that we made. Watch it after this. It's a cool piece of Nintendo history, however, I have not played them since that video. Although the condition of my SNES is more yellow than that. And speaking of yellow, the last Nintendo console that I own is the Color TV Game 6. This came out in 1977, and if you're wondering what it is, it's literally just Pong. But hey, that was revolutionary back then. But that's all for the consoles. We'll count the total number of everything at the end of the video, but for now, on to the games. First up in terms of games, we have my physical Nintendo Switch 2 collection. This is all as of January 2026, and I would say I have all of the essentials, most of the Nintendo games, with a splash of third-party games that are not even that good. My favorite one here as of now has to be Donkey Kong, but I'm hoping for a lot more to come in the Switch 2's life. And now, folks, behold my 94 Nintendo Switch games. Not proud of my financial decisions, but there are 3 in specific that I want to talk about. First up, Animal Crossing New Horizons. I was so excited for this game to come out when it did in March of 2020, and it went on to be my favorite Nintendo Switch game of all time. Second favorite game of all time. Had to talk about that one. Next up, Skylanders Imaginators for the Nintendo Switch. This is actually the rarest Nintendo Switch game that I own. You can't find it online for less than $150. And then, of all games, this is my second favorite Nintendo Switch game, Another Code Recollection. It's a remake of a DS and a Wii game in a combo pack, and the story is what got me. It's so good, but this game went underlooked. I would recommend that you try it if you have any interest. And I also have this, if it counts, a sealed in-box Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. It was fun for a week, not much after that. Now for my favorite Nintendo console, the Wii U. Even though it didn't sell well, I've managed a respectable 54 Wii U games. I've been collecting these since I was 6, but there's 3, like the Switch, that I want to talk about. I've probably had the most multiplayer fun playing Nintendo Land. It was a time where Nintendo could create crazy multiplayer fun because, of course, you had the Wii U gamepad. Mario Chase in Nintendo Land was where it was at. The Luigi's Ghost Mansion game, legit. Me describing all this doesn't do it justice. If you haven't played Nintendo Land, that's one you gotta play at some point. This is a game that you'll never hear me shut up about. This is Wii Party U, a party multiplayer game that got its start on the Wii with Wii Party, but I think in Wii Party U, because of the Wii U gamepad controller, it had so many more opportunities to make more fun games, just like Nintendo Land. And then probably my favorite Wii U exclusive game that didn't make its way to the Switch, Splatoon 1. I played this endlessly when I was 8 years old, and I would play Splatoon for hours after school. It was maybe top 10 life experiences for me. I'm still adding to my Wii U collection to this day, but I'm very happy with where we're at. We've got 44 3DS games that I've been collecting since 6, 7, 8 years old. And for my 3 favorites, I go Tomodachi Life as one of them. I got this day one, straight out of GameStop, and it's a bunch of Nintendo Miis in this fantasy world, just absolute chaos. I'm very happy it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. Pokemon X, I'm not the biggest Pokemon guy in the entire world, but objectively, whichever Pokemon game you played when you were 8 or 9 years old is the best one. So it was this one. And finally, if you know anything about me, my favorite video game of all time is Animal Crossing New Leaf. And Animal Crossing is my favorite series of all time, which is why I have Animal Crossing New Leaf sealed, and also I have a copy of Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer sealed in box. The Animal Crossing 3DS collection runs incredibly deep. Ever since my young childhood, I've collected 23 Nintendo DS games. First up, Mario Kart DS. If you didn't have this, you weren't playing the DS. You were playing not the DS. One of my favorite Mario Karts for sure. And then golly, why do my top 2 games for every console have to be Animal Crossing and Another Code? This is the original game to that Another Code Recollection remake on the Switch, and Animal Crossing is my favorite series of all time. I don't know what to tell you. Now, surprisingly enough, for my Nintendo Wii collection, we have 94 games, the exact same number as my Nintendo Switch collection. How is that? I have no idea. Let's get my 3 out of the way. The first one, it's Animal Crossing. Do I have to explain any more? I'd say City Folk is my 3rd favorite Animal Crossing game. This whole collection is very similar to my Nintendo Switch collection. Remember that Another Code Recollection game? This is the original of that remake. And then I own a sealed and signed copy of Jerry Rice and Nidus Dog Football. However, when I bought this signed copy of the game, I thought it was going to be signed by NFL legend Jerry Rice. No, I realized it's actually signed by the game developer, not Jerry Rice. And then the only ugly thing about my Wii collection, why is Link's crossbow training not in a box? Besides that, I like it. Now for my 15 Nintendo GameCube games, the number is 15 games because when I started collecting them, the prices skyrocketed. You cannot get a good GameCube game for cheap these days, which is why most of my collection is Disney Skate Adventure, Backyard Football, and Shrek 2. Those are the only cheap ones. However, I have 2 games that are my favorite. I won't even talk. And then Luigi's Mansion is my favorite non-Animal Crossing GameCube GameCube game. Very glad they brought this one to the Nintendo Switch. I have fond memories of being 3 or 4 years old. My babysitter would come over and we'd play Luigi's Mansion. I'd be terrified, but it was fun to watch. And then I eventually played it myself. Absolute cinema. Now my Game Boy and Game Boy Advance collection, if I'm being honest, is pretty sad. The only Game Boy Advance games I have are cheap ones. Chronicles of Narnia, Elf, the movie, video game, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Eminem's Blast. I have 3 fake Game Boy Advance games that I bought for videos, Backyard Sports, and then Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red. Both fakes. So aside from my sorry Game Boy Advance collection, I do have one Game Boy proper game, Super Mario Land. This is something I can be proud of. But I don't play much Game Boy, and if I do, emulation. I've got 2 N64 games that I bought solely for that 100 Years of Nintendo video, Mario Tennis and Madden 64. I am glad that I own Mario Tennis. It wasn't too much money compared to other N64 games, and it's definitely a fun time. Madden 64, it's classic, but I can take it or leave it. The SNES collection is pretty sorry too. Apart from Super Mario World, my one good game, we've got NFL football and Family Feud. I'm just a chill guy. I just like to have fun, okay? Family Feud, it's nice. Try it for yourself, okay? Come on. NES games I'm a little bit more proud of. We have Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which I always wanted to own, and I'm glad that I do, and Kung Fu of all games, which was bundled with my NES that I bought off of eBay. You can't blame me for not having a bunch of old games. I'm not unk, okay? But folks, that is every single game that I own for Nintendo consoles. Now let's get to everyone's favorite segment real fast. How many and which Nintendo Amiibo do I own? Now folks, I present to you my 55 Amiibo figures. Do I use any of these in the big 2026? Not one bit. Are they cool to have? Absolutely. And I have to give a shout out to my favorite ones. My favorite one has to go to the Hey Pikmin amiibo. It's not used in very many games, but just how it's sculpted and how it looks. You have the red Pikmin taking a little nap. You got the yellow one all jolly. The blue one is struggling. Got the rock Pikmin back here. It's one of the most beautiful amiibos out there. The other one that I'm proud to own is the dark, I emphasize dark because not all of them are. This one's rare. Dark turbocharged Donkey Kong. And what this is it's a Skylander and an amiibo in one. Skylander's collabed with Nintendo back in the day, and on the bottom here, you can actually switch it. So you can see 1 second, it's a Skylander, then when you change it, it becomes an amiibo. It's a 2-in-1. And then an amiibo I have tried to fix, but have not been able to, is decapitated Link's Awakening Link. I dropped him on a hardwood floor and his head came off. Now finally, my friends, over the years, I've bought some stupid, wild, and wacky Nintendo accessories. Here are the few that you need to see that no one should own, not many people do own, but I have. Starting off with the Wii Sports bowling ball. So everyone knows in Wii Sports you can play bowling, get a strike, it's a fun time. You do it with the Wii remote, but what if I told you you can put the Wii remote inside of this bowling ball, close it back up, put your fingers in, and use it as a real bowling ball. There's a button here that your pinky presses, you hold that down and let it go. I will say I've gotten a strike every single time that I've used this. I'll let you decide if you want to believe that or not. We've got some Mario Kart steering wheels, one smaller, one bigger. You can connect them to the Switch with Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart World via USB and use the wheels to actually play Mario Kart. I don't play this way very often because it's hard to be good at the game, but it is enjoyable. I also own a Nintendo Ultra Hand. This is a Nintendo toy that was made in 1966. Well, not this one. This is the remade version. You can reach out and grab things from far away. If I can grab this blue ball. Hey, look at that. Also, don't try me. I got some Nintendo guns. You can put some Nintendo Switch controllers in here and use it for supported games like Splatoon. And this Splatoon water gun came along with your Splatoon Wii U Target pre-order bonus of all things. And here are a bunch of Switch and Switch 2 dock accessories. We have the Zelda dock, the M-Swizzle dock, we have the Piranha Plant Switch 1 dock that also charges Joy-Cons, and even a Donkey Kong Switch 2 dock. And also look at this, our logos match. You can get this shirt at mswizzle.shop, link down below. And we even have the famous 3 6-foot Bowser. When he stands on this table, we're almost the same height. We showed this guy off in a $1 versus $500 Nintendo Switch 2 accessory video, so you may remember him. Bad financial decisions, great Bowser statue. Here's a collectible. It is a Nintendo Switch 2 coin, and on the back, it says Best Buy. If you waited outside Best Buy for the midnight launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 and you were early, you would get this coin. Oh, the memories. Over the years, I've also collected fake Nintendo Switches. This is one, and this is one. One is bigger and a lot better looking than the other, but they both were very cheap and they just play old retro games that no one cares about, so I wouldn't buy these. Now for some stats. I have managed over my lifetime to gather 17 Nintendo consoles, and as for the amount of games I have, it is a solid, whopping, and scary to look at 349 games. And as for which video you should watch next, it's gonna be that one right there. You can subscribe to the channel down below, or subscribe to my Nintendo podcast channel where we post every single Saturday. I'll see you all then. Adios.